Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Longmont Cable Trust Channel 3's broadcast of Longmont, Colorado's 125th Celebration Parade. I'm Nancy Herbert, together with Ed Lehman, Ann Drake, and the entire crew from Channel 3 to bring you live coverage of today's parade. We'll also tell you about upcoming Longmont 125th celebration events. First, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Ed Lehman. Ed is the chairman of the board and the chief executive officer of Lehman Communications Corporation. That corporation publishes the Longmont Daily Times Call, the Loveland Daily Reporter Herald, and the Canyon City Daily Record. All three of these newspapers have been serving their communities for over a century. A third-generation Colorado resident, Ed, you and your wife Ruth came to Longmont almost 40 years ago when you first became editor and publisher of the Daily Times Call. You've played a vital role in recording Longmont's historic events, and we're delighted that you can join us for today's parade.
Well, thank you, Nancy, and it's certainly a great pleasure to be with you today as we describe the events of this and celebrate Longmont's 125th anniversary. My longtime friend Nancy Herbert, a native of Concord, California, and she and her husband came to Longmont in 1979. She has done many things, among serving 4 years on the Longmont City Council, and also she is the Information and Community Resources Coordinator for the Longmont, or the RE1J Public Schools.
Ed, we need to take a peek here at the parade and introduce who's coming along right now.
All right.
We have the American Legion Post number 32 and their color guard.
Yes. Really, this is a very interesting American Legion Post, one we're very proud of, the John Harold Buckley Post number 32. And they have done such important work in our community. They also provide the wonderful color guards for all of our parades and many, many other events. The post was named for John Harold Buckley, who was a hero killed in World War I. He was a combat pilot. And I see that we're getting a band coming right along here, Nancy.
Yes, we do. We have one of Longmont's finest. We have the Longmont High School Marching Band. This marching band is directed today by Bill Wilkinson. Bill's been with the St. Vrain Valley School District for 20 years. He has a degree from Brown University, and he often acts as a clinician and judge for jazz and marching bands. By the way, Ed, this band also performed, not these children of course, but this band also performed in Longmont's 100th celebration parade. Let's listen.
Yes, by all means. Well, they're a great band, and actually, with
Now, I understand that they requested they be up front in the parade today because they have to leave from here to go perform in Elitch's in Denver. Here we have the introduction of the Trailblazers portion of our parade, which is the historic portion.
And there was Wayne Jurgens going by. He has been the principal pivot of the entire development of the 125th celebration.
That's correct. There's also Randy Alberg there on horseback. And we also have Robert Cross, who represents one of the first people, the Indians, here in this area. We also have the St. Vrain Black Powder Club coming up. These are men in Western costume.
Yes.
Brings us back to the olden historic days, the Westerns.
And they can make lots of noise, and also lots of black smoke,
Yes, they can.
too.
And the Rocky Mountain Long Ears Mule Association and their riding club.
That's right. See a few of them wearing raincoats out there. Fortunately, they haven't needed them yet, Nancy. It's been threatening.
It's cool and refreshing, though. It's a great day to come out and watch this. We have the St. Vrain Valley Pioneers coming up. Now we have historic replica here on this float, and we have descendants from Longmont dating way back into the 1800s represented on the float.
That's one of our great historic organizations, organized in 1904 by Letty Franklin Secor, and they continue to serve, gathering all of the ancestors together who are members of the pioneer families.
And they were followed by the Mitchell family. The Mitchells have traveled the Oregon Trail and Overland Trail, and much of the same as the pioneers first settled in the first parts of Colorado.
They, I see they have a name of a saddle horse coming along, Foxy Lady, and
Yes.
also Jim Mitchell driving a covered wagon.
And that was the Allen family, also in the Trailblazer category. Alonzo Allen and Mary were one of the first settlers here in the Longmont area, and they're direct descendants of the Allen family. Allen's Park was named after Alonzo Allen.
And the Allens, among other things, owned and operated the hotel right in back of us here, the Imperial Hotel. And here is the first United Methodist Church, starting in 1871.
Yes, their theme today is honor the past and inspire the future.
Well, it's very inspirational, and they look great. They've got many generations on there.
Well, and Ed, here's the Times Call float.
That's right. They had a lot of fun building this, and of course they are honoring the first paper, which was the Burlington Free Press, which then became the Times Call when they moved into the community. And Longmont has been home ever since, but it all started in Burlington for that first year.
And both the First United Methodist Church and the Times Call is celebrating their 125th along with Longmont this year.
Yes, that's right. People tell us we don't look quite that old, but there we are. We have an interesting thing here in this old buggy out in front now. It seems to, by the way, they're starting the motor again, I see. And they're quite proud of the fact that it was overhauled and motorized. I think it's motorized. It may be requiring a little push here pretty soon. Well,
There's another great shot of the Times Call float from the other side.
That's right. That's right. And
it looks like the papers are coming right out of the peaks of that mountain, Ed.
that's right. They sure are. They sure are. Sort of almost like a volcano coming up.
Yeah. Yes, I understand, Ed, that we have Ann Drake standing by, and she has an interview waiting for us.
Yes, we'll welcome her as soon as she joins us here on the podium. Oh, they got the horse's carriage going.
Now to you, Ann.
Oh,
I guess
Ann's coming.
Ann will be here shortly. We have Rabbit Hill Graphics. This is a float with a cannon, and, as you just heard, and people in period costume.
It's a great looking cannon there, by the way, as it's going by.
It's aimed at us now, Ed.
Yeah, they're about to pull it, the lanyard again. No, they're not. Well,
we also have the Erie Historical Society. The Erie Historical Society is a nonprofit agency. It was a cornerstone for the building of our St. Vrain Valley.
yes, it certainly
Ann,
was.
are you ready for us? Go ahead, please.
Hi, we're here with Blake Howe of Howe Mortuary. Blake, you guys look great. Is this a carriage owned by your company?
It's actually an original hearse from my great-granddad. It was built in 1900 and used by my great-grandfather in the early 1900s. And we found this in a museum in Burlington and had it brought up just for the parade.
The Howe family's one of the original settlers here, aren't they?
Pretty much. They came here in probably the 1870s and have been in Boulder County ever since, either in Boulder or Longmont, so quite a long time ago.
What does the parade mean for your family and for everyone in the community?
Well, it just gives us a chance to show how long we've been here supporting the town and serving them in our capacity, which is in the funeral business. And we're just real proud, my brother and I, to be here for 4 generations to continue the family business.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. You guys look great.
Okay, well, here we...
Now we have the First Bank of Longmont coming up. And we have lots of horses in this parade today. We also have a large turnout of citizens that have turned out for this parade. The weather's starting to clear. It's turning out to be beautiful. Actually, I was mistaken, Ed. This is an antique Howe hearse.
The Howe Mortuary, long-time funeral directors here, and they do have their antique hearse in the parade going by. And here we come with the 6 horses, I believe, which is drawing an authentic stagecoach coming down Main Street now. I'll bet many a stagecoach has come by here. We just don't see them too often these days.
Yes, I understand 287 long ago was a stagecoach route from here to Longmont. I mean, from here to Denver, excuse me, and then, of course, north into Cheyenne.
And on into the mountains, that's right. And this beautiful group of 6 horses, almost in perfect step as they come along on the bank, First Bank of Longmont coming by.
They look beautiful.
And they do.
And they're all
great
dressed in
shape.
period costume. There's small children waving to us. There's a saloon dress,
There they
an
are.
old-fashioned dress. It's just lots of fun. Oh, and look at this float we have coming up now from First National Bank. They've got a bandstand in the park.
National, yes. And these have all kinds of members of the bank board and the family there all going along. There's Mabel Durning up there, costume, one of our members of our longtime Longmont family. That's a beautiful float
And
with their gazebo.
Yes, and the gazebo is a replica of the old Thompson Park and the bandstand with the gazebo in the park. I see lots of balloons around here with the children who are now able to take off their raincoats and enjoy the lovely weather. And we have the next section of this parade, which is called the Builders.
That's right.
And
we certainly have to honor them for their role in our community.
we have the Tiny Tim Developmental Preschool coming up with their special education preschool. They first began in 1956. They have their 40th birthday this year. Tiny Tim has been known for practicing its philosophy and enabling all children to reach their full potential.
Yes, and what a wonderful group in an old-time schoolroom there. Going by, they're just turning the corner now and coming onto your screen. And there is the schoolhouse. Now, here is the Times call. We got out a 1923 fire truck. It's just going by, and then we have it followed by a 1929, which will be around the corner in just a minute.
I also see your son Dean, and are your grandchildren on that fire truck as well?
Our 2 grandchildren are on. They have learned to do lots of waving. One thing that happens is that our people do get into a lot of parades through the year, because we try to cover all the surrounding communities with parade vehicles. And it's lots of fun. Now here is an exceptional one just coming along on the Swedes, and this is honoring Risby Church. That's a wonderful thing. They have their costume, pioneer costumes, and these are ancestors of the original founders of Risby Church. And there they go. They sang and prayed, and how true that is. And Risby Church is still a great point of interest right today.
Well, they've also indicated that they have descendants of these seven families on that float today. The Olanders, Magny, Gummison, Johnson, Peterson, Anderson, and the Larsons are all honored on this float
It
today.
sounds very Swedish, all right, and it is.
It's
And
wonderful.
what wonderful citizens they have been in our communities. And here comes the Longmont Moose Clown Club, always out to entertain people.
Yes, they've put smiles on the faces of many young children for the past 8 years. They've received many awards, including trophies. They enjoy visiting nursing homes, helping with Easter egg hunts for the children, parades in the area. They help with the Shrine Circus in Denver for a day. Next we have the Daughters of the American Revolution, and this is the Longspeakin chapter.
Yes, there is truly a group who represent a lot of history, because that's sort of where it all started.
Back in 1916, it says, with 16 recognized members. And then gradually it's grown over the years. Women through the ages have been the backbone of the families and communities, have served in business as educators and civic leaders.
And they meet quite regularly here now on that. And here is a touch of history itself, with the Longmont Fire Department coming along with one of the old fire hose reels and a Dalmatian. And Chief Thoman going by. Now they do the races with these, but that was actually an original hose reel used by one of our two fire companies, all volunteer in the early days. And
That dates back to 1983 when they first used that cart.
yes, that was the probably in on the fire right across the street from us here in the great fire downtown, right here.
And a special welcome to Judy Alton and all the students at Central Elementary School as they start their wonderful float entry. We see that the old-time Children's Central School started in the 1800s, and we have students coming through depicting characters from their historic Longmont project. We have characters represented such as Stephen Long and Elizabeth Thompson. We also have a float coming
Tremendous
through.
group. Yes.
Central School students are all represented here.
And they're going to sing for us. Wonderful. There we are. T-shirt. Have to hold that up. Now, and here comes, go ahead.
The happy 125th Longmont banner that the students are carrying there at the end are carried by two student contest winners from the Moose Longmont History Essay Contest.
And here comes the Longmont Rotary Club afloat with a lot of the most distinguished citizens in the community.
They also
all
have
going by.
They also have a replica of the Kanemoto Pagoda, which is located in Kanemoto Park, and it was donated as a gesture of friendship and compassion to Longmont by the Kanemoto family back in the late 60s.
It has become a great symbol also with the Rotary Club for the spirit of compassion that it represents. And here come the representatives of the Japanese American community.
Yes, and we have Ann right there with an interview now. Ann?
Hi, we're at the float with the Japanese street culture. The Japanese have a long culture, a long history here in Longmont, don't they? What's your name?
Some native costume.
How long have you been in Longmont, Jack? That's great. This is a beautiful float. It's a Japanese garden, isn't it? Thank you guys to do the float.
2 days.
It's beautiful. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Next we have the Junior Jets, and they're saluting the first education. They're paying tribute to educators of the past by depicting Longmont in their first schoolhouse. Junior Jets is a child care facility located in the Longmont FAA traffic control site. It's not only open to the FAA employees, but to the entire community as well.
And here we have the Hicks and Chicks Square Dance Club. They're really in action here, right on the float.
That is so exciting. This club was formed in '68. Before that, there was a club by the name of Hoops and Ties. They spent many extra hours on their costumes preparing especially for today's parade.
And here we have a float for the First Congregational United Church of Longmont. Beautiful float, beautiful windows, a symbol of the cross at the top. And
next is the Nywa United Methodist Church, and they have represented a Noah's Ark there that they have built. And there are no animals on this ark yet. They are filled with children and members.
I see a bear. And
we also have some Mexican folklore with the Mestizo Partnership and the Ballet Mestizo Folklora and the La Gente de la Raza Service Club.
Community relations, their motto is, and Longmont, the community it cares. And it is certainly beautiful, the colors. And now
we also have the Happy 125th Birthday Cake Float, which has been built and entered by the Valley Bank of Longmont. Valley Bank was owned as a commercial bank. It started 25 years ago in Brighton and now has 6 branches in 5 northern Front Range communities.
Now here goes a great old white truck. This has quite a history. Look at the crowd of young people it's got on it. Used to deliver between Denver and Estes Park. It was sold to the group by the White Company, Liberty, and Ruth Lehman's father, Dean Gillespie, sold that to him. He also sold Longmont its first motorized fire equipment, but also a white fire truck. And they got that out, and it could deliver things up there right today.
A lot of history represented in today's parade. And upcoming, we have the Longmont Free Methodist Church. They believe that Jesus Christ is present today as well as in the past and will be guiding us into the future. And it began in 1898 with a group of people meeting in private homes, and it has grown to what it is today.
And Nancy, they're all singing on board there. We could almost have a church service going on right there.
And this must be the musical section of our parade. Next, we have the Longmont Symphony Orchestra,
celebrating
30 years in our community. And they have brought along their polka band, Ed. This symphony was organized in '66. They also have asked us to invite everyone to be sure to join them at Roosevelt Park on July 4th for their free concert, and also to the Oktoberfest on September 13th and 14th. The Longmont Symphony Orchestra.
They're being followed here by the historic East Side Neighborhood Association that sort of are dancing their way down the street.
Well, they are.
Look at all the dancing houses going by.
And I think these are dancing historic houses that they're showing us here. I think there's some members of some historic homes that are national historic landmarks.
And it says they're working every day to improve the quality of life for their neighbors and develop a sense of community. And they want to preserve irreplaceable structures where they can in that neighborhood.
We have lots of children standing here, balloons anxiously waiting to see their next entry. Here is Boulder County Partners. They're adult mentors for high-risk youth. They do a lot of work with at-risk youth throughout Boulder County. They are led in this little group by a dog and some children in wagons. They're waving to everybody, having a great time. We also have a partner's car here.
That's right. And
Ed, can you guess the year and make of this car? Looks like an old Charger.
I really can't, but it looks beautiful. Although right ahead of them, they have a little wagon being pulled with kids in it.
Yes.
And here comes the Golden display.
The Golden family business.
Actually, they're a very historic family. Done a great many things for this community. They came and only had horse-drawn equipment with which they worked on roads and things like that. And they have gone on to become more and more important in all of the cement, the gravel, the concrete, and other things.
Now we have Longs Peak United Methodist Church building generation through generation. And they are depicting a lot of their generations here on this float today, which is wonderful, from the little one here in the stroller, and we have the older folks and everyone in between. They're formerly United Brethren and Evangelical United Brethren, started in 1910. We're going to go to a break real quick, Ed, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.
Come see where over 90 companies soar with eagles. The Pratt Management Company has over 2 million square feet of advanced industrial high-tech facilities right here in Longmont, Colorado. The park is home to more than 6,000 people, providing jobs and recreation, all set in a pleasing environment. Pratt Management Company is proud to bring you this coverage of Longmont's 125th anniversary parade and pageant.
It may not look like it, but you're watching the future of the earth pass by, because many of these products are made from materials you've been recycling. But to keep recycling working, you need to buy products that say, made from recycled materials. For all those next in line, it would mean the world to them.
Welcome back. We are here today with Stephanie from the museum. And welcome, Stephanie. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about the historic role that the museum has played in helping throughout the celebration and in today's parade.
The museum is involved with the 125th anniversary by celebrating with our Heritage Festival. It is sponsored by the Longmont Museum. It is the largest event we've ever done. And the festival will take place next Saturday on June 29th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And this free event will be held at the Boulder County Fairgrounds in the park located on the corner of Hover and Nelson Road. And the public is invited to come and join. It is free. There will be live entertainment all day long, along with a lot of food and many historical demonstrations. Again, that's next Saturday on June 29th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it is free, and it's at the Boulder County Fairgrounds.
Great, Stephanie. We'll look forward to joining you there.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you there.
Thanks.
Thank you
This
very
is
much.
Stephanie Murphy from the Longmont Museum. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Ed, we'll turn right here to our
Yes.
next entry, which is the Boulder County Fair and Rodeo Royalty.
Yes, I think they just proceeded down the street, and here come more people on horseback and also a tractor-drawn float just approaching here. I believe that the royalty for the fair already have gone on past
They
during
have?
that announcement. And, boy,
And this is an exhibit for the Boulder County Fair and Livestock Show.
and they brought the pig.
And they brought their pig. It's been in existence for 127 years. And last year alone, they had over 110,000 people come through for the Boulder County Fair. I know it is one of the larger fairs that countywide in the state, and we always enjoy attending that fair. They have wonderful livestock presentations and contests.
It's one of the great events of the year here. There's just no question about it. People come from all around to attend. And here they have a bucking horse coming by.
Yes,
The annual Little Britches Rodeo.
the Little Britches Rodeo display. Look at that horse and all the kids that ride in the Little Britches Rodeo. That's something I haven't done, Ed, and I think I missed it.
I'm afraid I did too. I think that's right. Here we have a touch of the past with the Model A Ford group coming by. Very colorful.
The Model A Ford Club is a nonprofit corporation of the state and is dedicated to restoration and the preservation of Model A Fords from 1928 to 1931 vintage. We even have a convertible here.
and they restore all of these wonderfully well. They have the best looking cars anywhere, and there they go.
Great. We're going to another break now. We'll be right back with you, and we'll show you more of this wonderful 125th Longmont Celebration Parade.
Everyone is different. We all learn at our own pace and discover in our own time. Right now, there's a miracle happening everywhere, and cable TV helps you share it. Scripps Howard Cable, television with you in mind.
There's a lot of bad news in the world. Here's some good. Warren Zorek brought an elderly fire survivor her medication. 28 stories up, no elevator. Elaine King breathed life into a stranger's dying baby boy. Kristen Zimke resuscitated a dying man who collapsed in a crowd. Help us keep the good news coming. Give your time and support to the American Red Cross now, because help can't wait.
And we're back now to Longmont's 125th Celebration Parade. And as we rejoin the parade, we see we have the St. Vrain Historical Society. I see Dale Bernard there waving to us. She's in period dress. Dale works with the St. Vrain Historical Society and is a prominent member of our community. And it says, help restore historic Hover Farmstead, and has a replica of the farmstead there. It is followed directly by Prime America Financial Services, who has entered an antique Ford for this parade.
Nancy, one thing we must add here, and that is those clouds have convinced everybody to move this parade along. In fact, it's about the fastest moving parade I recall seeing in Longmont.
I agree, Ed. It's great, though. They are moving along. There is, we might want to mention now, as we welcome the disabled American veterans coming through, that we have about 125 entries in today's parade, which coincides with the 125th anniversary of Longmont.
That is right. Sorry, and the DAV people are all riding and waving as they go on.
That sign there says, if you love your freedom, thank a vet. They proudly served and continue to serve. The DAV was founded in 1920 and continues to serve us well today.
Well, actually, as we were talking a little earlier, they have been moving these floats along very, very fast. Now, just fast enough, we finally got a little gap in the parade.
Yes, we do. Well, this is a good time to tell you that all of these entrants and their floats, instruments, they have animals, vehicles, performers. They gathered at the old athletic field on 10th and Main around 9 this morning to line up for today's procession. The route actually begins out at 10th and Main, travels south on Main, passes the Judges Grandstand, turns here at 3rd Avenue, goes east a block, and then goes north again on Kimbark, and then returns to 10th Avenue again at the field.
I think it's wonderful to see the attention this crowd has been paying to this parade. A lot of people bring their dogs here. I'm looking at one just across the street from me, and that dog has been busy practicing shaking hands with his owner. And so when they have nothing else to do, why they haven't practiced on shaking hands.
There's a lot of preparation that goes into these parades, Ed. The Public Works, for example, the Public Works Department with the city arranges for special before and after cleanups on the parade route. They're also in charge of traffic patterns and barricades, with the police controlling and enforcing for safety. I spoke with Barb Huner, the Director of Public Works, before this parade. I asked her if the large Main Street and 9th Avenue projects would have an impact on today's parade, and she told me that her department strives to be sensitive to community events and activities. In fact, she said they often schedule projects around such events such as these. They worked extra hard this week to get the 9th Avenue project completed to Main Street in time for today. She admitted it was a challenge, but after all, there are really only 2 seasons in Colorado, Ed, winter and construction.
You know, that's right. Well, we have to be grateful also to the Kiwanis Club, because through these many years, they have helped and directed putting on all of our parades. And they have served this community so well and have taken a great interest in it. And if we didn't see them out directing and organizing the parades, it just wouldn't seem natural.
I think we have Ann standing by for an interview right now. Ann?
I'd like to introduce Richard Inskeep. Richard, how long have you lived in Longmont?
Can't hear us.
Since
And you said your grandmother came here, was one of the original settlers?
she came here in 1878 and to Colorado.
So you've seen a lot of changes happen in Longmont. What does this parade mean to you?
Well, it means a lot.
Because? Okay, go ahead and tell us.
Well, you can see the changes that came across over the years.
It's been great to see, and we've got all these kids out here. It's going to be another good 125 years, don't you think?
Yeah,
I think so
I
too.
believe it is.
Great. Thanks for talking with us today. Enjoy the parade.
What's coming up? Okay.
We have the next entry is the Family Extension, and they are depicting the Orphan Train. During the time period when Longmont was founded, children in the eastern cities with parents too poor to care for them were sent out west by train and taken in by frontier families. Many of them were put to work on farms and treated more as slaves than children. There was no one to watch out for them or to be sure that they were not mistreated. We have no way of knowing how many of these children ended up in Longmont. We do know, however, that Beatrice Hover, one of our most distinguished citizens, was an orphan who was adopted by a caring family.
That's a very happy story, as it all turned out. And here is the group still representing the importance of the family extension and of taking care of children, many of whom really need parents and need some help.
Yes, they've been working in the St. Vrain Valley for 10 years, offering therapeutic foster care. They are located right over here on 3rd and Main, and the Family Extension, together with the In-Between, provide a lot of community services for the children in our area.
Now, what have we got going by now? An old Saxton, 1914, it says. The Guerrier, I believe it is, a family, just brought their favorite car along. And there they are. Now, in fact, here we come with a whole group of...
We have the St. Vrain Antique Auto Club, it looks like, Ed.
That's right.
And they've been a part of Longmont's past, and they're enjoyed by many people. The club first started back in '67 and was dedicated to the appreciation and preservation of antique and collector classic autos. They look just great, and boy, are they having fun in there.
They certainly seem to. And a lot of them carrying balloons along in those cars. The balloons put out by the Board of Realtors here. And those are magnificently maintained cars.
I think it's appropriate for us right now to discuss a little bit about the Longmont 125th Celebration Committee. Ed, the committee has done so much work, and they have helped to organize and pull all of the community together in lots of great events and projects to help celebrate this year. The president of that committee, of course, is Wayne Jurgens, Vice President Kent Brown, Treasurer Dale Bernard, Secretary Bea Malcho, and some of their members, Connie Caulfield, Gideon Haas, Don Heath, Nancy Horanick, Linda Lee, Don Macy, Bea Ramos, Ray Potter, Steve Simpson, and Suzanne Streer. We give them a special thank you for doing so much with this committee this year.
Well, isn't that the truth? I've never seen a committee work harder, and we're certainly looking forward to the festival that's coming up just next week. And that will be another great event because people can turn out and see about 2 hours of magnificent history and entertainment.
And for those of you that are watching us live in your in the comfort of your homes right now. We will be replayed. The entire parade will be replayed again this evening at 6 o'clock, and Sunday, 10 a.m. on June 23rd. Sunday again at 6 p.m. There are a lot of people here in attendance that would probably, and that are in the parade. I think half of the town is in the parade, Ed, and the other half is out here watching. It's just a wonderful turnout. But I know a lot of these people will want to be seeing this again as it's replayed on television.
I think that's right. Now, there go the Boulder County Commissioners, and in a horse-drawn wagon, and we've got them all in costume. I understand they got a lot of their costumes from the museums.
That's wonderful. We're going to take another short break, Ed, and we'll rejoin our viewing audience in just a few
minutes. Come see where over 90 companies soar with eagles. The Pratt Management Company has over 2 million square feet of advanced industrial high-tech facilities right here in Longmont, Colorado. The park is home to more than 6,000 people, providing jobs and recreation, all set in a pleasing environment. Pratt Management Company is proud to bring you this coverage of Longmont's 125th anniversary parade and pageant.
Okay.
Upcoming, we have the present and the future. We have the Pratt Management Company coming up. Their theme for their float is What Mankind Can Dream, Technology Can Achieve. The Pratt Management Company is also a sponsor of today's coverage of the parade.
And they too trace back through about 4 generations here in this community, and they're playing a great major role in the future. One of the things they have done is to beautify much of the area they've developed with the marvelous statues. There's the eagle going by on that float.
What mankind can dream, technology can achieve.
And they certainly prove that all the time. And
here's the next entry, St. Vrain Valley School District, and their entry actually is the bus, and they're saluting the students of the entire school district. There are a lot of Westview students on that bus waving about. There's Ray Harrison in the back there. He's with the students in the bus. Ray is the Fine Arts Coordinator for the school district, and driving the bus is one of our great bus drivers, Tony Ornato. And I don't know if Shelley got a close-up of my daughter on that bus, but I'm sure she did, and we'll be seeing that later on when we replay on Channel 3.
Well, now that is one float you knew all about.
Well,
Nancy.
I did, yes.
And you handled that very well. And here's Wayne Jurgens, see on the side.
And there's another Times Call entry.
Yes.
With the paper carriers.
That's right. They've all got their carrier bags. Hello.
Yes, we have.
Mystery. Oh. We're going to stand by a minute here, Wayne.
We have the carriers still waving to us. Boy, these carriers work hard. And apparently a lot of newspapers are not using carriers anymore, Ed, and it's great to see the Times Call continues to do that in the tradition of newspaper carriers.
Many of the finest business people and leaders in this community all started as carriers for the Times Call, and they were great then, and they went right on to marvelous careers.
Now we have the Cub Scouts Pack 64 Youth Service Club. And they're yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's the longest running pack in Longmont. They've been going for 49 years and still going strong.
They certainly are. In fact, that program just keeps growing.
The Longmont Foundation Service Club, now and the future. They have an 87 red Corvette convertible here, holding their banner, the Longmont Community Foundation. Community members coming through on that in that Corvette.
That's one of the exciting chapters of Longmont today, is the development of the Community Foundation and its funding. And in the years ahead, it will be able to grant much help to needy people and to nonprofit organizations in our community.
Next, we have an interview here. We have Wayne Jurgens, who is the chair of the Longmont 125th celebration. Wayne, thanks so much for taking time to join us today. Would you like to tell us a little about the parade and the events
Well, as
planned?
you probably saw, I got to be among the first in the parade, and so I've finished my section of it. And boy, is it a fun route. There's people lining this place all the way up and down. And it's a thrilling parade.
It is.
I just can't remember one that's been this big in Longmont's history. Maybe Ed can, but I can't.
Well, this community certainly is proud of the job you've done, and as the chairman of it all, I know how much it's meant. And we're just thrilled to see the success. We're looking forward to the festival next week.
Next week.
And
next Friday and Saturday night at Boulder County Fairgrounds, the really spectacular performance. It'll be in the evening, 7:30 each evening, and boy, what people want to come and see this because it tells the whole 125 years of history of Longmont.
well, I remember very well the fun we had with the 100th, and this, I understand, is much better than that.
They've added to that, so it's going to be better. So
Right, absolutely.
we'll have a great time.
Well, thank you.
Well, Wayne, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on all the hard work that you and your committee have done to make this such
I
a
tell
wonderful
you look
success.
at the hours that people put in just in this parade, it's really spectacular, and this is multiplied many times over.
Oh, sure.
Well, and here is Roger Driver. Roger is
Thank
the
you again.
superintendent of the
Thank
St.
you.
Vrain Valley School District, and he's also a candidate for the superconductor contest for the Longmont Symphony. Roger's there with his entire family. They're driving a 67 Mustang, and they have signage all over to vote for Roger for superconductor for the
stay?
Longmont Symphony Orchestra.
To stay? Stay. Another break.
Great.
All right.
And Wayne, would you tell us a little about some of the merchandising that you have for sale just for the Longmont 125th?
Well, we do have some really great merchandise for sale that commemorates the 125-year history. We've got some coffee mugs, which are emblazed with our logo that we have adopted for this celebration. We also have some neat lapel pins. The mugs are $5. The lapel pins are $3. If you're here around the parade, they're on sale right in front of the old St. Stephen's Church, or after the parade, you can find them at the museum. The Columbine Lions Club's also selling some T-shirts that have the logo on them, so they're also on sale over there too. So stop by.
And I've often thought what keepsakes those are. I go back and look at some of our things from the 100th, and I realize these are the keepsakes right today that will be honored and enjoyed years from now.
That's true.
Great.
Really
Now we
something to
thank
keep.
you so much, Wayne. We need to get over
Now
here
we are
back to the
back to the
parade at
parade.
the Meals on Wheels. The Longmont Meals on Wheels is a nonprofit agency that's been serving this area for 27 years. They have a number of clients, and they provide foods to. They
we're at 68.
have volunteers that deliver hot meals to people that are homebound.
So
We appreciate all their services in Longmont. We also have the Longmont Newcomers Club. They are the avenue to friendship. They link historic Longmont's past to the future through welcoming newcomers.
they do a wonderful job with their monthly luncheons, bridge, craft, book groups, and just in making people know that when they get to Longmont, they're welcome at home.
Well, and look at this float, Ed. This
What
is the
is
City
this
of
here?
Longmont's
Aha,
Recreation Department float.
Sure.
They are depicting the adult softball
Got a lot
league.
of council members there. Yep.
They have Junior League Baseball. They have a scoreboard on there. It's a salute to baseball. The City of Longmont Parks and Rec, and they also have some city officials on there. I believe I saw Ron Gallegos and James Foster and Eric Daring on there. And we have the Longmont Boxing and Wrestling group. Here's a lot of young men and women here that are preparing the youth for the future achievements by setting goals and working hard to achieve them. Their
Yes.
achievements will help these youth be more involved in their community.
Great looking group. And here, Cruise into the Future says Travel King, just going by right now on the turn. There they come, up on our monitor, and they've got the world on top.
They sure do. And next we have the St. Vrain Education Foundation. And they have supporting teachers through mini grants. We have a lot of people in this community that contribute to the St. Vrain Education Foundation. A lot of the grants that they give out, oh, look at, they're depicting an old schoolhouse again. We're seeing a lot of those today. Education has played such a large part in our history.
They're pretty popular. That's right. I see they've got the arithmetic right on the blackboard up there as they go by. The Education Foundation, and that is great. Well, it was fun to see the float and the kids from Central School. That was our first major school that was built in our district. And don't forget, Longmont's school district, RE1J, actually represents 17 school districts that were consolidated. And those school districts really define the greater St. Vrain Valley, all the way out, of course, to the Tri-Towns, all the way up to Lyons, and of course,
out to Meade.
And out to Meade, that's right. So that means so much in the development of our community.
And with that, we're going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back with you with more coverage of Longmont's 125th celebration.
What makes a community great? Clearly, it's the people that live there, the folks who work there, and the contributions we all make to improve the quality of life. For years, we've been providing our schools with educational programming. We've sponsored community programs that make a difference in people's lives. We entertain you, we inform you, and we thank you. Scripps Howard Cable, television with you in mind.
We're back here at Longmont's 125th celebration. We have the Front Range Chaplains floats.
And they represent a great group.
We have Police Chief Mike Butler on there. We have some fire staff. We also have Reverend Allen, who is in charge of the Front Range Chaplains group, serving those who serve and protect.
And day or night, 365 days of the year, they're out there to help.
They sure are. They not
On
only
call.
serve the city, but they serve county, state, and federal arms of government as well. There are 10 volunteer chaplains that help the Longmont area. Next, we have the Longmont Humane Society. And you know, there's a bunch of animals on this float, Ed, but I don't think any of them are alive today.
And one of the things that they're very proud about is that the Longmont Humane Society has received the Standards of Excellence Award of the American Humane Society. That's a prestigious 5-star award given only to a few humane societies throughout the country. And we're delighted that they were honored that way. We know what a great job they do.
They are promoting a future where every animal is a well cared for pet. And they had a lot of pets with those children there today. It was just an adorable float. Next we have some more scouts coming up here. Building Longmont's future one boy at a time. This must be the Boy Scout troop.
Absolutely, what a great motto, too. And they say here that they're very proud to be right with Longmont and helping celebrate and recognize its 125th anniversary. Those look like some den mothers maybe coming along and back there.
I think so. They have won the Best Scouting Spirit and the Best Pack Overall Awards.
That's right. And seeing the growth and development of the scouting movement, one of the things that went by we didn't have much chance to mention because it went by too fast was the YMCA. And they also had a wonderful float and a great group of young people who were emphasizing and telling the story of their program. For the point of history, our YMCA now has a great swimming pool and ever-improving facilities.
They
a lot
also
of change.
They also had some of their youth members on board that were actually singing the song YMCA, which was very appropriate on there. It was very entertaining. Next we have the Longmont Sister Cities Association, and it ties Longmont with the global community of tomorrows. We are the city of Longmont's a sister city with Chino, Japan. And on this float, I believe, are a number of students who either have been or are going to be exchange students over at Chino, Japan shortly. And it says celebrate future friendships.
Also, we are growing closer to communities in Mexico on
That's
that
correct.
Too. Now,
We have the St. Frank Community Council, and they're giving us a taste of their holiday basket program right here in June on the Christmas. With presents and everything else, and they have a wonderful holiday food basket program. They distribute gifts and food to the needy throughout the holidays. We have the Longmont Association of Realtors. We had the Career Development Center, actually, which is the Building Trades Department of the Career Development Center School, the vocational school, worked together with the Longmont Association of Realtors to build this playhouse. And in this playhouse, Ed, I understand, is going to be auctioned off right after this parade.
Yes, I think that's going to be over at Collier Park. And there at the back door is Eva Dane Turner, who is one of our longtime members and leaders of the Realtors. And she's waving along to everybody. She's in costume of the early days.
Yes, for those people that may not be aware, Ed, the Career Development Center offers vocational classes in business, technology, marketing, restaurant trades, childhood development, and many others. They are open to high school students throughout the district. Next, we have a large number of Gold Wing Road Riders here, Gold Wing motorcycle riders, and they are zipping through here in unison.
Those are beautiful motorcycles. Many of them, of course, sporting their banners, the American flag, and what a colorful group they are.
I think this may be another good time to talk about the other events that are happening today. I know it opened with a pancake breakfast. We also have a police fair that's currently going on over at Roosevelt Park, and we'll be there until I think 8:30 this evening, weather permitting, and I believe the weather's going to permit this today. It's starting to lift here. The sun's starting to come through. It's looking like just a lovely day.
And that is a great experience to go and visit the police fair. You'll see more exhibits. And when you stop and think back from where we just had a night marshal in this community, you realize how our police department has grown and developed.
It certainly has.
One of the fine departments in the state.
We have the police fair will be taking place at Roosevelt Park, where people can enjoy exhibits, rides, crafts, and food booths.
Well,
we have another entry coming up here, and I believe it is the Longmont Clinic Medical Care Facility. They are announcing themselves with surrounded by a lot of medical vehicles.
I think they're being followed by the American Medical Response Service. Well, don't you think the Longmont Clinic has been a great part of this community these many years with all their doctors and their ever-increasing services?
They sure have. The clinic's float did depict the services tendered to the young years ago. I don't know if you noticed that. It had a nurse in an olden day nurse's costume, and then on one side of the float and on the other side, which they claim was 90 years later, they have today's medical services being administered to youth.
And they've also stepped out now to have a Nywa family practice as well as a family practice located here on Vivian Street. So we have seen them grow and develop right along with this community, and it's very, very exciting. Because one thing Longmont could be most proud of today, we have marvelous medical care. and a great hospital.
We certainly do. And now we have the entertainment section of this parade. I think at its peak, we have the Longmont Theater Company with Longmont Theater Company Presents. The Longmont Theater Company was formed way back in the 1900s by several members of the Longmont Hospital Auxiliary in order to make money for the hospital. 39 years later, the group is still thriving and are now the proud owners of their own facility, the Longmont Performing Arts Center, which is located at 513 Main Street.
Now, Nancy, a break.
We need to take a break right now. We'll be right back with you. We are back now and just in time to see the retired senior